Good evening and welcome to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. Your home for all the latest actions, analysis, and thrilling highlights from across the world of sports. Tonight, we shall delve into the pinnacle of athletic achievement at the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. And of course, we have a lot for you. From the heart-pounding excitement of the track to the grace and precision of the gymnastic floor and the fierce competition in the swimming pool, we've got you covered. My name is Ekpo Temple, so get ready for an in-depth look at the biggest stories, the hottest highlights, and expert opinion on all that will play out from now till August, when the Olympic will be staged. We're going to short break now. When we come back, we'll bring you more electrifying opinions, analysis, and more views on Atlantic Television Network. Don't go anywhere.
Goal. Goalkeeper missed it. Right hand. Fight Wembley. Does the right hand and down goes Woodward straight away. Oh, what a point to end it on. So now this is when they're at their best. Yeah. That's when they're 12 years minutes. So drink it in.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human trafficker.
Honorable
So no agreement with the EU, but So no agreement with the EU, but
They vote for government, but we not get good governance
at all.
Road so no day, light usa, The infrastructure he can't turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything. Hello?
Hello, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
Okay. Okay, I've been expecting your call.
Madam, remove this your phone from loudspeaker.
No, now my phone be like that. Hello?
Are you there?
I hear, I'm hearing you.
Yes. We saw a copy of your invoice for computers, printers, and laptops.
Alright, welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, it's Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. And I have in the studio two gentlemen that will be doing, that will be bringing their expert opinion on parallel analysis and insight from all that you need to know about the Paris Olympic Games tonight. Here in the studio, I have Emmanuel Michael, and of course, he joins us to look at everything Paris Olympics. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I think it's a Mazarin entry for me this evening. Talking about the Paris, I have to zoom off down to the Paris Olympic Games. You know, in my mind, I'm there already. So just waiting, you know, for you to say, let's go on the physical before we set the ball rolling.
Of course, before we set the ball rolling, and one man who joins us from afar, but somehow he's there, he's here live to also give us his own view of all that will happen starting formally from tomorrow. He's one man who has seen it all, who has been part of the Olympic series. Mr. Femi Adetula, he's a former PRO of the Nigeria Olympic Committee. Femi, good evening and welcome to Atlantic Television Network.
Let me say good evening to you, Tempo, and the other, my friend there in the studio. It's nice to be with you this evening. Good evening, Nigeria.
All right, I love the way you are dressed, and I know that you already your ticket and your flight ticket is set, prepared. I don't know when you are going to be zooming to Paris, but I know that you will be there.
Definitely, I will be there. Just to put one or two things together so that I can join the train. But very shortly, I will join the train and be in Paris.
All right, quickly, let me start with you, and let's look at the Paris Olympic and, of course, all. For the sake of history, let's take a look at how far 54 countries are expected to participate in the competition, including Nigeria. This year's Olympic has commenced, and of course, it started 2 days ago, and we saw all that played out so far. Now, details released by the National Olympic Committees show that approximately 10,500 athletes will compete across 32 sports in 329 events at the 33rd edition of the Games, otherwise known as the Paris Olympics. And if you look at this game, starting formally tomorrow, ends on the 11th of August. Someone said that the euphoria this time is not as hyped as compared to other years. What do you make of that, Mr. Femi?
Well, looking at it, you know, our French brothers are very funny characters because, sorry to use that language, because going to this Olympics, there are a lot of, you know, restrictions, and I don't know why that is coming at this time, because we've gone to several Olympics, and we know what you know comes with it. But this very one, there are a lot of restrictions here and there. I don't know why this is happening. So the euphoria that you know normally comes with oh, we go to Olympics is not what we are experiencing this time around. But as it is, it's France. You have to go there, do your bit, and see how you can represent your country well. Whoever is represented, be the official, be the athlete, or be the spectator. So you just have to, you know, bear with them to you know do what they want to do in their country.
Mike, it is a 33rd edition. That means we've had 32 Olympic has been staged across.
This time around, they are also, making all effort to ensure that they had a hit-free, outing this time around. Make it better compared to their last, the last outing where they hosted. Mr. Femi talked about some restriction out there. We understand some of those restrictions, and the dangers why they've also tried to restrict some things or certain areas is not far-fetched from the truth. The truth is that there are some, terrorists that have also threatened, to unleash their mayhem against or any sporting activity or facilities, across the globe. Don't forget, even before the UEFA Champions League final, they threatened, that the center that hosted that one for the final was going to be attacked and all of that. They had to beef up security. This year alone, we heard it earlier before now, that the threat is also continuing. They have taken it as far as saying that they are going to do something terrible, in this year's Paris Olympic game, and that is why the French authority, especially the local organizing committee as well, is putting every security measures in place to be able to curb or quench the fiery darts of these, reprehensible, terrorists out there. And I think that is the reason for some of these, hitches and where Mr. Femi talked about. But then, like I said earlier, I think the Paris is not a strange place for the Olympic Games.
Truly, having previously staged it in 1900 and 1924, this is a centenary edition. If you check the last time, they've also hosted in 1908, 1948, and 2012 when they hosted the Winter Olympics. So, France have hosted 6 Olympics when you put the Summer Olympic Games and the Winter Olympic Games all together. Mr. Femi, let me come back to you. Let's look at, this is going to be the last time that Thomas Bach, the IOC president, will superintend an Olympic Games. Okay, Mr. Femi, okay, we'll get to you, but like I said, it looks like getting Thomas Bach, he might be stepping down after these Olympic Games.
Just might be. I think he truly needs to be given some accolade for what he's done during his era, during his time, as the president of the IOC. I think he's done an enormous job. Taking a look at the previous outing, Tokyo, and mentioned some of, the Olympic Games since he became the boss. I think, we want to say yes, he truly deserves to be given his flowers. I think he's done enough, and if he decides to step down at the end of this year's Paris Olympic game, I think he will be celebrated because he's been able to bring high level of competitiveness, and we've seen relative peace in terms of the Olympic, and many countries have also started taking part in it. Has been expanded, and some new games also included into the Olympic game, which for me, I think with his ideas and new innovation, he's been able to at least bring new changes, in terms of the Olympic organization. So for me, if he decides to step down at the end of this year's Paris Olympic game, I think he has served meritoriously.
While we wait for Femi to rejoin us, Mike, it also looks like this is, we are back to the 4-year system of Olympics. No, the last time it was scuttled by the COVID-19 that ensured that the Tokyo Games were staged, in 2021. So France have 3 years to prepare for this glamorous outing that will be staged starting tomorrow. But from tomorrow, I'm sure that the Los Angeles Games will have enough 4-year calendar framework to work with.
Yes, absolutely. They should have a 4-year, calendar to work with, so that there will be synergy in terms of the Olympic Games out there, so that we don't get to see this year 4 years, the next year make it 3rd year, and the inconsistency will not be good for the nature, the magnitude of the Olympic game, because don't forget that the Olympic game is the biggest sport hostility across the globe, and we need to maintain that synchronicity in terms of the years, so that when you get to 4-year plan, wherever you are across the globe, the fever of the Olympic game will definitely hit you, because for me, I think it's the biggest sport event across the globe. So I urge them to maintain that consistency of 4-year period, so that though we've seen even before in the history of the Paris Olympic Games, we've seen a certain natural phenomena that have served as a catalyst in Scotland the arrangement of the Olympic game. We've seen major setbacks in time past. In 1816, where there was this First World War, it actually scuttled the organization of the Olympic. Then again, in the second time, talking about the Second World War, 1814 to 1816 as well, we saw a major setbacks in terms of the Olympic because of the Second World War. Then again, in 2020, where the COVID-19 pandemic as well set in, we saw a bit of delay and disjointment in terms of the Olympic. But I think we've come of age away from these circumstances that have actually, serve as a setback for the Paris Olympic game. I think this time around we've been able to, overcome that, that disaster of the pandemic of 2020. So I think this time around the 4 years period should be maintained. It should be sacrosanct for me. I think that is the beauty. More like saying that the World Cup is hosted every 4 years. It is settled that every 4 years you are definitely going to be part and parcel of the World Cup. So for me, there is need for us to maintain that calendar. There is need for us to maintain the year, which is 4 years period, to also give it, that relevant that it truly deserves.
All right, we're CSRA in the Paris Olympic Games and a lot to talk about, I can tell you for sure. We hear that some of the cities, Saint-Denis, Nateri, Versailles, these are stages that will host the basketball preliminaries and handball finals. We also hear that some of the host cities we host for the football games will be held at the Mediterranean city of Marseille, which is 777 kilometers from the host city. Meanwhile, the surfing event is expected to be staged at the Pool village in the overseas territory of French Polynesia, from the host city, Paris. So we get to see a lot that will go on. For other cities that will host the football, Bordeaux, Nantes, Nice, and Saint-Etienne, which are home club of some of the Ligue 1 club. But let's look at the participating national Olympic committees, and this is an arena where we look at the list of those that will participate in. Following the list released by the IOC, the National Olympic, who have qualified at least one athlete. That is to say, we get to see how the pattern. Russia and the invasion of Russia, Russia invasion of Ukraine made it very difficult for them to continue as an NOC because they were suspended by the Olympic Committee Charter. They and Belarus will not participate as a country. But other than that, we've got to see a lot of persons ongoing. And let me take it through, Mike. We've seen some of the individuals that will take on as neutrals. Those coming from Russia, Belarus will participate as neutral. That means they don't have the legal right, to have their anthem and flag raised when they win any medal.
I think it's very disappointing one for the likes of Belarus, Russia, and their affiliates. It's a very difficult and a very tricky situation for them. The Russian invasion of Ukraine, I think, is something that I've gone down a while right now. I think possibly they should have been able to find a common ground to resolve this issue. I think international organization as well, UN as well, they have tried to intervene in most time, but it looks as though Vladimir Putin is not given attention to some of this peace talk in order for them to break that truce between them. And it's going to be a very sad one for some of the participating athletes who will not have the opportunity of hoisting their flag or even singing the national anthem, which is for me the biggest fame, the biggest honor for you as an athlete when you get to win any medal, either you hoisting your national flag or singing the national anthem. I mean, there's this joy and patriotism that infuse in you as an athlete, and quite unfortunate that I'm not going to have the opportunity, as the Olympic Charter, stated very clearly, have been barred because of the Russian invasion. So for me, I think it's a very disappointing one, and I feel for the athletes who, for me, they are paying the price of what they did not, start or what they did not cause, because the war. Most of these athletes, all these athletes, they are not culpable. They are just innocent. But courtesy of their country, being involved in this, hostility or in this fisticuff, it has actually barred them from, hoisting their country's flag, which is the biggest honor, like I said earlier. I think it's going to be quite disappointing for some of the athletes.
All right, to go on a short break now. When we come back, I will bring you more electrifying news making round as we count down to the opening ceremony of the Paris Olympic Games.
With the goal. Goalkeeper missed it.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.
Every day our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought a very family.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
All right, welcome back from that break. If you just joined us, it's Sports Extraordinary here on Atlantic Television Network. I still have Femi here, and of course, Femi, before we went for that break, we were actually talking about the participation in the Olympic, and of course, we talked about Thomas Bach, and I was about asking you that what is your view of this being his last Olympics? I'm sure that you've had contact with him over time as part of participation. This is his last Olympics. How will you rate his exploit so far in terms of the IOC affairs?
He was in Nigeria some time ago when the Anoka office was opened in Abuja, and we've been together at one or two of the Olympics. So far so good. He has tried, because you have to give it to him. Looking at, he has tried to open up participation in the Olympics. He is the one that said, we're going to the Olympics is something very important for everybody. It's not for you to go to win, but it's for you to go participate. And the moment you go there to participate, there is Oli, O-L-Y, that's, he invented that they put at the back of your name as a participant at the Olympics. He has tried his feet, and we just have to give kudos to him for what he has done over time. And the results are there for everyone to see. So if this being his last Olympics, we have to, bid him farewell and see who is coming next.
And as someone who has been part of the Olympics, usually when you go like the Tokyo Olympics, this time around we hear that 13 million meals will be served with 40,000, each day given to those in the Olympic Village, and also 1,200 will be given. So a lot of meals. When you have estimated 13 million meals to be served within 3 weeks, I mean, how is it usually done? Have you had such experience as per being part of the NOC?
Yes, in 2012 in London, we were there. It was sumptuous, and like that, the last Olympics in Japan. Going to the canteen because as an athlete you have a spoon and knife on your on your accreditation. Yes, it's there, because if you don't have a spoon and knife, you can't go into the restaurants because variety of food. And one thing about it is, if you are from Africa, there is something for you as an African. If you are from the other area, there are other, menus for you, to eat. And I got there one day in Japan. Don't let me sit this evening, but it's
part of the fun,
It's part of the fun, yes. So this won't be different from what we've been experiencing over time, and I think as an athlete, as a journalist, because there are one or two days that the journalists can, allow journalists to go into the restaurant to have a feel of what the athletes and the officials are eating. So if you are lucky to be there one of these days, you see how it looks like. It's a very big place. You go in there, several tables, several people serving, and but one good thing about them is when you take your meal, you eat your food, then you pack your plate to where you're supposed to drop the spoon, drop the cup, and drop the plate. It's not nobody's packing for anybody. So in the Olympics Village, when you eat your food, you pack the plates and put it where it's supposed to be washed.
And then tomorrow we are thinking that an estimated 320,000 spectators are expected at the river bank where the opening ceremony will be staged. And of course, you know that 80 boats will be pulling the athletes from one part of the river to the other as they continue to display, in the opening ceremony. And of course, this opening ceremony is also estimated to have 100,000 tickets to be given to spectators who want to view live events at the Rain River. This is fantastic. It is the second time we'll be having the Olympic stage outside the main bowl of the stadium to be used.
Well, it's going to be a beauty to behold, because we've seen the pictures, though very painful. I'm not part of this. It's going to be epoch making, understand? It's something one really want to imagine how it's going to look like, because this second time it's happening, and now it's happening in France. The guys there tomorrow, we have something to talk about and something to reminiscence over the rest of their life, because as it is now, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun, and I don't know how to even describe it, because I'm just beginning to imagine how it will look like tomorrow. But it's going to be a carnival-like, and when in opening ceremony like this, what this and what the spectacle they bring into play. So tomorrow is going to be special, and we'll try and see what they want to bring on board and watch on television. We'll hear in Nigeria.
Mike, to add to that, we hear that 200,000 spectators will be outside the upper bank of the Seine River, getting to see what is happening, and this is fantastic. I'm just thinking how they were able to estimate. That means they planned with estimates of statistics, which they feel that we're going to have 200 seaters for this and that, and they know that they will all be filled. What is statistic in preparing for this Paris opening ceremony?
For me, I think the IOC, talking about the local LOC, rather the local organizing committee, did a magnificent job. Don't forget, 3 weeks ago we heard that tickets are finished. I mean, it's done and dusted. You can't get any ticket because why? They have limited number of persons which they have actually projected to be part and parcel of the opening ceremony, which is one of the 4 rituals, you know, in terms of the Paris Olympic game, in terms of the Olympic general, because there are some, you know, rituals and rites that comes with the Olympic game. First is about the Olympic flag. We talk about the torch bearing, talk about the opening and the closing ceremony. These are 4 of the basic Olympic rituals that needed to be carried out. And the local organizing committee, I think they did a magnificent job, and we must give it to them. You know, if not, they should have been able to see an overflow of crowd, and that may be very difficult for the stewards to be able to control such a mammoth crowd. So for me, I think they did a due diligence in the organization so as to ensure that everybody is safe.
So that's to ensure that everybody is safe. Mr. Femi, let me come back to you. The first time Nigeria participated at the Olympic was in 1952, just 1 year after the NOC was formally inaugurated. And since then, we've had, we've been participating. But the truth is, we've had only 3 gold medals, you know, and we are the 3rd country in Africa to amass the highest number of medals. You look at what we've been able to achieve, the 9th most successful African country in the Olympics with 3 gold, 11 silver, and 13 bronze. Nothing compared to what South Africa and Kenya have achieved, totaling 113 and 89 medals respectively. So, your view on the affairs of Nigeria going forward? Mike, okay, Mr. Femi, are you there? Okay, Mike, I was saying that look at the statistics, look at our achievements, and you think that yes, we might be the 3rd following Kenya and South Africa, but having won just 3 gold medals and the paltry sum of 11 silver.
Let me share this with you. I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here to Pakistan.
Okay, go on.
Yes, I said, if you look at the Olympics, to go for the Olympics,
okay, as soon as we are able to connect back, Mr. Femi, I'm sure that when we work that out and then we'll get back to you. Mike, judging from what he was to say.
Yes, I think for me, being the 3rd country in Africa to have amassed medals in the Olympic, I think it's not something that we should be celebrating. Why? Because as a giant of Africa, you expect us to be doing better. Just 3 gold medals, 11 silver, and 13 bronze. You know, as a giant of Africa, we are down the pecking order, you know, against the likes of Egypt and Kenya, which for me I think it shouldn't be. But the reason is quite clear, is that for us here, we have limited number of sports that we do pay attention to while heading for the Paris Olympic game. Most time we just try to major on some of these, you know, relatively known sports. But most times, some of these relatively known sports, the sport that is very popular in this part of the climb, might not even give you the amount of silverware or even gold or bronze that you need at the Olympic Games. So what happens to countries like South Africa, Kenya, or Ethiopia is that they focus on other areas of sport which is relatively unknown, and they take their athlete down there and they get to amass, you know, silverware for themselves. Whereas in Nigeria, we just basically dwell on some of the sport that we feel is very known. Talk about football, basketball, taekwondo, boxing, weightlifting. Apart from that, which other relatively unknown sport will you say, yes, Nigeria have been able to make a mark? And that is why we just managed to amass a total of 27 medals in all of our outing. in the Olympic, which include just 3 gold medals. And those 3 gold medals, I think 2 of them came in Atlanta '96, where we did exploit out there. And you take a look at the fact that this year's edition, the Nigerian Olympic Committee, they say that their target is about 12 medals, whether it's coming from gold, silver, or bronze, but their total target for Team Nigeria is 12. Is that good enough? We are boasting about 87 athletes that is going to represent us, and we are, limiting our chances to just 12. I mean, for me, it's very poor. Despite the fact that at least we've done ourselves proud, we've made some marks in time past, but then is that good enough as a giant of Africa to be behind the likes of South Africa or Kenya in the pecking order in terms of our achievements in the Olympic participation? I think for me, not good enough. We should at least this time around go beyond our previous outing, and that for me is something that we must, as a matter of must, do this year, because we have at least good number of athletes that we can be rest assured that they will definitely make us proud. The likes of Toby Lola Motion, the likes of Sebrume, Chukwebuka Enekwechi, Ofyonge Dem, just name them. So for me, I think we should go past our previous outing, and in all, we should be aiming higher, not the 12 medals benchmark which the Nigerian Olympic Committee have projected for us.
And so as it stands now, we know that we're going to be participating in events like athletics, 12 events, possibly we might be participating in this one: athletics, badminton, basketball, boxing, canoeing, cycling, football, table tennis, taekwondo, weightlifting, and wrestling. Even if we have more number of games to participate, like we hear that this year at the Paris Olympic Games we have a lot of games that athletes will participate in. So it's about 339 events will be staged in 32 sports. That means that we have a lot, including 28 core Olympic sports contested in 2016 and 2020, and then optional sports that will go in. Not also forgetting that the likes of breakdancing, surfing, and others will be making their debut at this year's Olympics, Mike.
Massive, and I think this is the new innovation I was talking about that Thomas Burge has been able to bring in. And when Mr. Femi actually gave him a thumbs up for his stage so far and his performance out there, I think he was right on point. I think for Thomas Burge, he has been able to unify the Olympic movement, bring every country across board, so long as they are eligible and they have what it takes to participate. It's more like going back to the ancient plan when the Olympic Games actually started. Keep talking about Greece. They have a rich history in terms of the Olympic. You can trace so many history back there. When it was mooted that it was Heracles, and who also alongside his father Zeus actually initiated the act of Olympic. It was more like a festivity meant for only the aborigines of the Greeks out there. But at some point when Macedonia and Rome conquered them, they make it more open that everybody, whether you are an aborigine or not, come and take part in the Paris Olympic Games. So I think this is what Thomas Burge is heading toward by expanding it. Create new sport, new innovation, and bring it in. Expand the scope of discourse, expand the scope of sport participation, expand the scope of countries taking part in the Olympic Game. And for me, it is the way to go. And for this new sport that have also been included, that will also give some other countries who are specials in some of those newly introduced sports to also amass silverware for themselves in this year's Paris Olympic Game, which for me, I think, is a great job done so far by Thomas Burge.
Of course, it's a great job done so far by Thomas Burge and his team. And not also forgetting Tony Estigwe, the man who is the local organizing committee. He's the president of the Paris 2024. That's how he's called. And, in our local parlance, we call him the LOC chairman. Tony Estigwe, he has really done very well. He's been taking us through what is happening at the Olympic Village and all that, and a lot of preparation ahead of the Olympics. We'll try to get across to Mr. Femi. Okay, Mr. Femi, good to have you back via the phone lines. Of course, we truly want to have your experience and it doesn't get better getting someone like you who have traversed several Olympics. Femi, of course, all eyes will be on France as the host after the opening ceremony. But when you look at the French side, you think they have really achieved so much when it comes to Olympic activities?
Well, there will be so much pressure on them. But like I told you earlier on, Olympic, according to the organizer, is not for you to host and win. It's for you to host very well. You participate well. You compete very clean. You understand? But on most occasions, countries want to participate and win. You understand? So there will be so much pressure on them. But if you look around, we have USA, so we have the Jamaicans, and we have the Chinese. We have everybody around, even Africa. I'm not looking down on our athletes. The world champion is Priscilla from Nigeria. Ete Bruma is there. Dekoroye is there. Ogorodudu is there. And even Opayori is there. Don't forget the number one man in Africa, Aruna Quadri. So pressure on every of the countries, participating at the Olympics. So there will be so much pressure on the French athletes. But whatever comes, they have just to stay by it.
Hello, are you there, Femi?
I'm here.
Okay, and of course, get to see how far it goes. And but so you are very optimistic that we can get something, from these games. We can win medals.
We will win medals in all the colors. We will win medals in all the colors, from gold to silver to bronze, because we have the athletes, to make us proud. I'm very bold to say this. The Super Falcons are playing at this very point in time. I don't know the result of the game they are playing, but I know that our athletes will do very well. Remember that in Taekwondo we have Ayana Cho, in the last 4 years, has grown and with so much experience. So there are a lot of athletes that we have in our camp that will do us very, very proud. They moved into the Olympic camps from their January training camp some minutes ago. Some of the athletes, some of them were there, but the rest joined them this evening from the camp. So they are ready to go. I can assure you that Nigeria will do very, very well to surpass what we have done over time at the Olympics.
The Nigerian Olympic Committee have given a benchmark of 12 medals at this year's Paris Olympic Games. Are you comfortable with that benchmark of 12?
Well, as a Nigerian, as a patriot, I will say yes. But when you look at it, 12 is good. It's a good number. If we achieve it, that podium finish will be something to really toast about. You understand? But I can tell Nigerians that these athletes, we win medals, but the number, I will not be able to say 12, like I know, as told Nigerians.
If you have 87 athletes or contingent, and you win 12 medals,
is that good enough?
Well, it differs, but your assessment, you look at the rankings and look at what South Africa go in with and the kind of medal haul that they get, and so you ask yourself if truly this is good enough.
Well, if you want to argue that, you look at swimming. South Africa, they do well in swimming, and the amount of medals you can win in swimming events. So in a swimming event, you have more than 40 medals in swimming, and South Africa, they are doing very well there. With this contingent, we have basketball, which is 12 players. We have football, which we have table tennis, which is 4. So, making up the number, if anything comes from basketball, it means we were winning just 1 goal. You understand? And interestingly, the match we are playing now, Nigeria is trailing by 1-0. But towards the end of the first half. So, what I'm saying is, looking at the statistics, we we have to, give kudos to these athletes. We are doing swimming this time around. We are doing aquatic, and we are doing what do you call it? Aquatic. Yes, aquatic. So it means gradually we are integrating into these sports, and with time, we will blend and be one of the world powers.
Many thanks to you, Femi. I'm sure that in the coming days, if you have not traveled, even if you travel, we'll get to see how far you can join us. I'm sure we'll have more conversation so that we can also talk about what is happening live from where you are or your base in France.
Not a problem. I pray that we will have a good show with better internet. I'm so sorry for what happened this evening, but we are all Nigerians. We know how it is around here, and but the good thing is the show has been done, and everybody's so happy, listening or watching what you have done so far.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate.
Thank you. God bless Nigeria.
Let me just say that Nigeria is trailing 1-0, and of course, Kazakhstan confirmed. The Samba ladies of Brazil. I hope that it's still a scoreline. It's not done and dusted yet.
Yeah, it's still a scoreline, not done and dusted, because in the game of football you can never say never until after 90 minutes plus the little added time that will be given. So for us to be trailing by just a lone goal against a world power such as Brazil, we must give it to the girls. But then there's still light at the end of the tunnel.
Let's see how far. Mike, this is where we'll call it a day. It's been a wonderful time here.